Welcome, everybody. We're about to get started. So we're about to get started. If everybody could shut up. Is the microphone on? Can you hear me? It's not? Can you hear me? Yeah. Yeah, it's on. It's out there. Hi, everybody. Welcome. My name is Joel Christian Gill. I am the chair, the inaugural chair of the MFA in Visual Narrative, which is what you have to call comics at a Research One institution. It is my pleasure to introduce to you 5 future colleagues today who are going to be talking about their work. So let me just tell you a little bit about what's been happening over the last 2 years for their work. Over the last 2 years, these 5 cartoonists have basically blood, sweat, and tear over their stories, these stories that they've created. So most people think that I've given students an assignment. I didn't give anybody an assignment. I said, what kind of story do you want to tell? And so we went through the process of workshopping their story. Some people just changed their entire idea halfway through. Some people worked with one story all the way through, which is absolutely what it should be, but these are their stories. My only input, mine and Kathy G. Johnson, who's in the front row here, and Paul Karasik, who I hope is watching online. So if you're online, Paul, hi. Paul and we just guided students. We just guided them through this process, helping them along the way, giving them critiques and feedbacks and helping them do their work. So this is, as much as I think some people want to say, congratulations, Joel, this is not really about me. This is really about what they were able to do, because I didn't draw any of these pages. I just told them when to draw hands better. That was my input. And so I'm going to introduce, and so these projects are, so some students presented on Wednesday, some students presented today, and these projects are their 2-year project. This is their thesis project. This is something they've been working on, they feel passionate about. So we might get emotional, I might cry, some of them might cry, some of the people in the audience might cry. I just want to let everybody know that we are emotional about this stuff because we've been working on it, and this is the culmination of that process. I was trying not to cry. I didn't cry. My eyes were sweating on Wednesday, but I did not specifically cry. So without much further information, I'm going to present the first student. I have to share a specific screen. And that's going to be, well, this is wrong, not this one. So I'm going to present Isabel Russo. I did say your name right. I messed it up, didn't I? Did I mess it up? I didn't mess up your name, did I?
No.
Okay.
No, you're good.
So Izzy is going to talk about her project, which is fantastic, and it is called, I'm going to make sure I share the right screen. Is it not sharing yet? Okay. Let me make sure I share the right screen. All right. So if you all would please give a warm welcome to Izzy Russo and Superfleet.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to day 2 of the book talks for the inaugural graduating class of the Visual Narrative MFA program here at Boston University. If this is your first day, welcome. We're really excited to have you here. If this is your second day, that is very sexy of you. And we should 100% talk about that over in the Commonwealth Gallery after the book talks are completed. My project is called Super Freak. It's a graphic novel series. And before I go more into that, I need to tell you guys my origin story. And I promise that this does have to do with the comic. So there we go. So this is little Izzy. For as long as I can remember, I've always been drawing or painting. creating. I've always been telling stories, even at such a young age. I was a very artistic kid. In fact, I was so artistic that everyone was really deeply concerned because I wasn't interacting with any of the other children. And it turns out I was not just artistic, I was autistic. And society does this really fun thing that when people look or act slightly different from the main populace, we want to make their lives more difficult for some reason. So when I started elementary school, when I was having my quote-unquote autistic tantrums, the school's solution to that was to lock me in a closet or a small room from anywhere from a few minutes to a few hours. Shocker, that did not cure my autism. And I would just either be let out by the person that put me in there, or I'd be let out by the school janitor, and his name was Mr. Gaston. And apparently Mr. Gaston was the only non-sociopathic person in the entire school system, because he saw this shit going on. He was like, what the actual fuck? And he was like, just give her to me. Just give her to me. I'll take care of it. And so I would help Mr. Gaston clean the school. We would play. He would listen to my stories, and he would always get me extra little snacks in the cafeteria, and he was my superhero. And so I made my first comic, and it was called The Adventures of Super Gaston, and I'm really lucky that I got to share these stories with him, and I wouldn't know until later in life that this would inspire the idea for the comic I'm sharing with you now as a teenager. So a lot of therapy later and a lot of school later, we're here. So this is Super Freak. Super Freak is a graphic novel series about two teenage girls, Harper and Gia, who discover that their crass, mean, functioning alcoholic history teacher, Mr. L, is actually a vigilante who goes by the name The Dark Mist. With that said, The Dark Mist is at best piss poor at using his superpowers. And the two girls use the knowledge of his secret identity to blackmail him into taking them with him on all of his misadventures. So this is the kind of humor you can expect to find in Super Freak. Super Freak satirizes superhero comics, meaning it's making fun of superhero comics. With that said, there's also themes in there of government corruption, police brutality, classism, discrimination, and just kind of in general how we're failing our youth right now in this country. But once again, it's a comedy and it's an adventure, so it's all told through this comedic lens. These are my main characters. Starting in the middle, we have Harper. Harper has autism. As I said before, I am a woman with autism, and in my comics, it's really important to me that my main characters feature neurodiverse women. Autism so often in the media is depicted through inaccurate stereotypes, which ultimately harms us as a community. Harper has a strong sense of justice, but also, unfortunately, she has a punch first, ask later mentality, which gets her into a lot of trouble. But at the end of the day, Harper is a really compassionate girl who just wants, who would do anything to help anyone, whether it is a stranger or a friend. On the other side of Harper, we have Gia. Gia is a love letter to my own cousins. I'm really lucky that I got to grow up in very close proximity with my cousins, so we spent a lot of time together. So we also knew how to really get on each other's nerves as well. But at the end of the day, we know each other so well, and we're always there for each other. And, they're not just, my best friends, but they're my family. And that is the kind of relationship that Harper and Gia have with each other. Gia is a girl's girl, very girly, but also very intelligent. She wants to be the best at everything and be the best in the eyes of everyone. And that is due to some deep-rooted insecurities. Unlike Harper, she will try to schmooze or find a way around a situation before getting so directly involved with it. But when push comes to shove, she's there. Then we have Mr. L, aka the Dark Mist. If nothing else, he's kind of hot. So just read my comic for that. But no, Mr. L does have this kind of brooding, crass personality that pushes both away his coworkers and his students. And he says he is a vigilante for quote unquote the adrenaline rush. But in truth, even though he has a very bleak outlook on the world, it's being a teacher and his students that give him hope in the world and that keep him going. And as the series progresses, Harper and Gia, are growing up and figuring out who they want to be in a world where injustice exists around every corner. And Mr. L is learning what it really means to be a superhero. And it's not what you think it is. So I'm going to now read a small excerpt from Super Freak, if that's cool with y'all. Well, you guys actually don't get a choice, so I'm going to do it anyways. So we're starting with our little morning scene. Everyone's snoozing away. Dear Dad, tonight was my first night at Aunt Fran and Gia's place. I already want to run as far away as I can. I wonder, how long would it take for me to get back home if I ran fast enough? Wait a second. Am I being followed? Oh shit, I totally am. I can't believe this is happening. TJ always said I was too ugly to get kidnapped. Whew. You have got to be kidding me. It's fine. This is fine. Hey kid, over here. We want to show you something. This isn't fine at all. I never had to fight an adult before. Splash, clump, clump, splish, clump, clump, clump. What is that noise? Hey, what's up? Well, well, well. Look what we have here. Your friendly neighborhood perverts. Get wrecked. Dude, our car. That's what you get for trying to diddle kids. I'm 14, a child. What? No, we're with the church. We travel town to town, spreading the word of our Lord and Savior. Priests, pervs, pretty much the same thing. Hey, nobody makes fun of organized religion. Maybe we should start letting our members use the internet. Well, you've got the thunder. Now get ready for the lightning. Fizzle, fizzle, shit. So if you're still not... Thank you. If you're still not convinced, if you want to read my comic, I have created a solution for you. Who here likes AI? This is good, this is good. I'm glad I don't have to come down and fight anybody. I just think it's really funny how there's a bunch of tech bros sitting around being like, thank God we taught a robot to steal art so that artists can do what they were really meant to do, which is to sit at a desk for 80 hours a week and code. But AI is good for some things. For example, I put my comic into AI and asked it to generate a list of the type of people who would enjoy reading my comic. So I'm going to share those results with you now. You're neurospicy. Interesting way of saying neurodiverse. That's cool, very like modern and hip and makes sense. Harper has autism, so this all checks out. You want to destroy the patriarchy. Okay, a little bit further, but there's definitely girl power in my comic. This, once again, is making sense. You want to set stuff on fire and overthrow the government. For all intensive purposes, don't do that. The government definitely has your best interest in mind. Okay, this is getting weird. Let's just keep. That's probably a mistake. Let me just. All right, so there are gay people in my comic. Get that. Okay, let's just keep. You want to live vicariously through your characters by having them stand up to the people who've hurt them because you never got to. This is just calling me out. Jesus, let's just get through this. Oh, okay. This one's good. This one's good. You need a good laugh. I truly believe that laughter is the best medicine. In some of my darkest times when I felt like I didn't have anybody there for me, comics were there for me. And it was such a relief to be able to just open up a comic and read and not be preoccupied with, the horrible things that were going on in my life. And if I can offer that a kind of escape to at least one person, I will feel like I have fulfilled my duty on this earth. I know it sounds cliche, but I truly believe that comics have the power to save the world. And and we know this because comics are being banned all over the country. And if the people who are banning them didn't believe that comics have the power that they do, it wouldn't be happening. So at the end of the day, this book is for everyone who needs a good laugh, anyone who needs an escape, people who are angry at the world and just want to fucking scream, people who may feel like they don't fit in. And ultimately, this series is for all of my super freaks out there. Thank you.
One question.
How are you developing those poses? How are you staying on model? How are you referencing those?
Yeah, so I actually do all my own tricks. No. It's a lot of internet reference. It's looking up poses on the internet. It is a little complicated because sometimes I have an idea for like how I want someone to pose in a panel that is this kind of like, of course, weird acrobatic position. And at the end of the day, like, because those are such like weird poses, sometimes you can't always find exactly like what you want or what you had envisioned. So you kind of have to work around this where it's like, okay, this doesn't look like exactly what I wanted, but I can make it fit in here. And if maybe I change a few things in the background, it's gonna like feel a little bit more balanced. All right, thank you, everyone.
wrong start. Oh, I gotta stop sharing my screen first before I can get. Then you get the infinite Joels. You like the way that happened, where I put my hand out and it just like. That was amazing. It's the wrong one. I got to get it right first. Because then I got to actually escape, and then I got to make it play this. This is.
We are a research one institution.
Okay, now we're good. I can't hide the little thing. This is crazy. There's something happening here. So I'm going to introduce you our next cartoonist. After all of that, 4 hours later. Daja, who's going to be talking about her work, What Are You Thinking? So let's give a warm welcome to Daja.
Okay, I'm nervous. For this presentation, I not only want to talk about my graphic memoir, but also I think it's a time to summarize my artist journey from childhood to where I am now. So let's begin. Wait. I can't begin. Okay.
There we go. Push the.
Okay, let's begin. In 2008, when I was in elementary school, my mom discovered my drawing interest in my textbook. So she took me to art classes on weekend. The teacher of my drawing class said I was very talented. And I believe it. And my family also believe it. So maybe I thought that maybe I could consider drawing as my career in the future. So in 2015, I left high school for 8 months to take an intensive drawing training program. In China, if you want to get into art college, you have to take exam to prove your ability. Most of our students will take this program beforehand to give themselves an edge. It was highly competitive environment, but I was not scared because I know I'm talented. At first, I was happy because I was learning a lot. My drawing skills were improving. But gradually, I realized that speed sketching was a subject I put every effort into, but never improved. So I just practiced and practiced, and I still got low scores. And started to get jealous of people. And I got emotional, and I got disappointed in myself. But I didn't want to give up. I even took it seriously. I stayed up late drawing and just kept going. I drew and drew and drew. I was feeling so tired. And gradually, I started to feel like I started to scared to draw. I started to not know how to draw. And I didn't want people to see my drawings. But I had to keep going because I need to pass the exam. So I just practiced, right? Practice makes perfect. But I think at that time I became a drawing machine. After I left the environment, I focused on more on my academic performance, and I still into drawing, so I still draw a lot. I just draw all kind of things, and I feel like I could capture the dynamic of people very quick. So I feel like, oh yeah, I still have talent. So in 2021, I came to the US. I came here to pursue my art career, a place where I think, a place where I think the creative market is more mature and sophisticated. I believed I will learn a lot and achieve a lot, and I will be successful. But as soon as I got here, the language and cultural barrier gave me a big challenge. I realized that the English I learned back home was not enough for actual communication in real life. Even though people were super nice, I just didn't know how to communicate with people, and I didn't even know what people were saying, actually. And sometimes some awkwardness due to cultural and language barriers is carried some comedic effect. But I just draw to express myself. After a year in the illustration program, I came to Boston for a second graduate MFA degree in comics. So you probably will ask, who would get into 2 graduate programs in the arts, and they're both freelance related? Me. And I don't have much money. But during the 3 years each, I just keep going. I just draw and draw. Draw a lot because I believe I have talent. I will be successful in the future. So I explore my art style a lot. And during the time, I also participated in some illustration competition, but even though they're not getting selected, but I would just keep going. I was also participated in some art fair. I sold my art, and I made some friends, and they appreciate my work. So I believe I still have talent. I also worked for art fair a bit before. So I believe I have a talent. I have so talented. But until last summer, I had to say goodbye to some of my friends because their visas were going to expire. Yeah, and something like to have to relocate to work, and also my roommates or move out because they moved to different city to study. So I started to focus on my thesis project, and I started to living myself because I was aware of the changing and unstable relationship. So I just kept going. But I started to feel a little lonely. After the summer break, during the Independence Day, after I watched fireworks with some of my local friends at night, and I walked home, and I started to feel alone. I never feel this before, because I usually have very stable friend group. So I called my mom. I want to see Can. Can is my dog. And my mom asked me, "Oh, how's everything? Any exciting things happening in your life?" And I said, "Okay, good, nothing special." But I'm being missing home. My mom said, "When you come home, I will cook delicious for you. Remember to sit up and move around a bit. Don't sit all day drawing. Be happy. Don't put too much pressure on yourself. Are you there?" Yeah, I'm listening, Mom. I think I just feel a bit alone. And after I had a small talk with my mom said, "Oh yeah, all right," because we have like time difference. So she said, "Oh, it's getting late over there. Ready for bed, huh? Don't stay up too late." And I say, "Okay." And I wanted to say something to her, but I don't know what to say. After I finished the phone call, I just kept drawing a bit. I scrolled through my phone. My mom sent me a message. She said, "We are always here for you." But after spending more time in the US, I started to get used to people coming and going. I become more confident than before. And I also went back home for the winter break. Everything seems stable and just like 3 years ago, so I was very happy. But the only thing that changed is just that everyone's getting old, including me. But it's just more noticeable in older people. Finally, the time has come to 2024, which is now. And once again, I'm gonna graduate again. I'm once again at the moment of facing many choices. A lot of people give me a lot of advice, like, "Oh, are you gonna get a third graduate degree? Or are you gonna be a freelancer after graduation?" Just a lot of advice, a lot of suggestions. But if you ask, what are you thinking? I don't know. I only know that I'm ready to embrace the unpredictable. I know I still keep drawing and creating. I know that no matter what, tomorrow is a new day, and Dasha, you are still pursuing your passion. And I'm Dasha. I'm talented and driven. This is my graphic memoir. What are you thinking? Thank you, everyone.
One question.
Nice, I don't need to ask. Yay! Oh, okay.
What's your plan?
I don't know.
I know, right? My mouse has disappeared. There we go. I just like that because when I do it, I can see myself going through it. So next up, we have Ella Sherrill. Ella's going to be presenting her thesis project, When I Think of You. So let me get this set up so that you can see it. Full screen. Then I got to go to Zoom and then share that screen. Okay. So let's welcome Ella to the stage.
All right. Hi, everyone. I changed the title last minute, so if you see a different title on my mini comic, that's why. We are still a work in progress here. But hello and welcome. Thank you all for coming, and congratulations, Izzy and Daja. Hard to top that. Thank you. But anyways, here's my project, When I Think of You. My name is Ella, and as you can see, on my to-do list today is, whoops, I gotta hit the next one, is to find the marbles that I lost when I was preparing for this presentation. This is a story about mental health, so just starting off right there. This is a transformation story. As I said, a story about mental health, creative expression, self-love, and resilience. It is dedicated to my late uncle, Chris Sherrill, whose original comics will be featured throughout this presentation and signed with several funny aliases that he used, including Shirelli Belly and Cirque Productions, which is his name backwards. This one's just a basics by Chris Sherrill. My story starts with my creative parents. My mother is an artist and my father is a musician. My childhood was filled with afternoons painting to the sound of the music that my father was making. Every moment of my childhood has been reflected through art and music and documented through art and music, whether I created it or my parents did. Here's a drawing my mom made of me when I was a toddler. I was a sensitive child. I often found myself having challenges socially. But when I picked up a paintbrush or a musical instrument, I knew how to express myself and what to do with it. As I grew into teenagehood, I pursued my interests in the arts and competitive basketball. Yet there always seemed to be a quiet undercurrent of anxiety and depression that left me feeling isolated and confused. Water break. Okay. I came to learn over time that members of my family felt the same way. My Uncle Chris expressed similar feelings in the drawings he created. Chris was my father's younger brother. They shared a deep love of music and creative expression. There he is, in the middle. He grew up to be a talented drummer, trumpeter, and singer with almost perfect pitch. He was so clever. Here's Sting saying, "Don't stand so close to me." He was an avid bird watcher. And he was a lover of all things Packers football. He was from Wisconsin. Cheeseheads. He was an utter goofball. This comic he made says Moses' great son-in-law, who says, "Hi, my name's Jacob, and I sell jelly beans." But the world was a scary place for Chris. His depression often kept him in bed for several days at a time. This one says, "In safe confinements, nobody will get me here." He needed a lot of support. He utilized state-assisted housing and public health networks. He couldn't hold a job or sustain a romantic relationship. He couldn't really take care of himself. As he got older, he detested having any responsibilities at all. This comic says, "Welcome to heaven. The only difference is we clean your bathroom for you." His diagnoses changed several times over the years, and I'm not sure which ones were official, but they ranged from obsessive-compulsive disorder and hoarding, ADHD, schizophrenia, autism, depression, and anxiety. Some of these diagnoses I share with him. He also struggled with various addictions, including sugar. Seriously, he had diabetes, he wore dentures, and he lost all of his teeth because he had an addiction to sugar and drank Mountain Dew several liters a day. He was prescribed medications with intense side effects throughout the years, and sometimes abused them by taking too many at once or none at all. When the pandemic hit, we both struggled. His mental health symptoms amplified beyond a level we anticipated. He stopped drawing because his hands were too shaky from the medications, as he said, but he wrote himself notes of inspiration and reminders all around his apartment. One of them says, "Courage is doing what you are afraid to do. Prove your worth by action, not talk. The magic secret to everything, don't say anything. Great guy, good man." On the top right. During isolation, I began to bond with him over the phone calls that we shared when I went on walks. We talked about our mental health symptoms, self-care, our love of drawing, music, and sports. I drew this one during the pandemic, working remotely. I also drew about the state of the world, as you all remember. But all of this time in isolation also forced me to look inward at my mental health challenges. I was reckoning with my own demons as well. But drawing and humor helped, so I continued to draw. This one I drew says, "Honey, where did all of our furniture go? Are you trying to tell me something?" And the funny thing is that my fiance is a therapist. And then my Uncle Chris passed away. The news was shocking. He had taken his own life. This one says, "You must enter the kingdom of God through many tribulations." And when he passed, I drew this sketch of him and tucked it in his pocket. Water break. Yeah. Thank you. And what I realized when we went through his hoarded apartment is that when a person dies, their belongings are divided into 3 piles: keep, throw away, or donate. And to me, the most meaningful thing he left behind, tucked under his bed, next to his dirty laundry, in a plastic bag, were his comics. Hundreds of little hand-drawn windows into his sensitive soul. This one says, "I didn't ask to be put on this planet, but maybe I should be happy for the gift of life." And I began to wonder, what is my purpose in this world? How do I want to be remembered? And ultimately, how much of my uncle is a part of me? My mind wandered into dark places as I searched for my place in this world. And someone wise once said to me, "Adulting is soup, and I am a fork." This is kind of how I feel throughout my memoir. The pandemic hit, and I seem to have lost all the little tools in my toolbox that I previously organized so thoughtfully. Where did all of my spoons go? This book is about finding my little toolbox again and honoring the life of my Uncle Chris as I do so. So I'll read an excerpt here, the first 10 pages. Just take this. The real world was an imitation game for him. He's on the phone and he's saying, "Oh, hey there, it's Yogi Bear." Classic Uncle Chris. Haha, "Hey there, Uncle Chris." His mimicry allowed him to live in another reality, one that was different than yours and mine. "Ella Bobella, how's my amazing niece doing?" "Pretty good, thanks." "Good timing. I just left the house for a walk." It felt like every quote was an attempt to try on someone else's shoes. "Oh, good for you. I should walk more. I gotta lose those LBS, if you know what I mean, jelly bean." Just to see if they fit, which they never did, no matter how hard he tried. Haha, I feel you. It's just good for my mental health. His own shoes felt too heavy. "The pandemic has been hard on me, you know?" "I sure do. I sure do." Humor helped alleviate the burden. "Scooby-Dooby-Doo," which he randomly did all the time. So did living vicariously through others. "So how are you these days? How is Big Dave?" "David is great. We are temporarily living together in his apartment in Baltimore during this period of isolation, but I still have my arts admin job in Boston, which I do remotely now." "Oh, you can do that?" "Sure can. Technology is amazing these days. Most everything is done on Zoom." It was an adventure, an escape. "Oh, Zoom, yeah. Zoom, Zoom." And he sings a song that I won't torture you with singing about Zoom. Who sang that one? The Commodores, you know, Easy Like a Sunday Morning with Lionel Richie. "Oh, nice. You're an encyclopedia of music, just like my dad." Comparison was his own worst enemy, because it made him aware of his own 2 feet. "Oh, I've always looked up to your father. He's my hero. I wish I was as cool as him." The grass was always greener on the other side. "You know, I used to play the trumpet. If only I had moved to LA or New York City with Casey, I could have become a big shot musician like him and maybe even found a girlfriend, you know?" As a family, we knew it was our job to bring him back down to earth with tender care. "Maybe, but you've got a good life in Madison. Grandma Libby, Uncle Kent, Carlos, your social worker. You've got family nearby, and a village of people looking out for you. We all are." "Oh yeah, I guess so." Even when the earth was really a tough place to be. You're not alone, as I sit slightly alone in a park. It was challenging to be supportive from across the country, but I found ways. Hey, have you been making comics lately? I love when you send them to me. No, not really. The meds make my hands all shaky. Sometimes he just needed a little help tying his own shoes. Shaky lines add character. At least that's what I tell myself. My shoes felt heavy too, but I tried to be there for myself too. I started an online comics class. I really love it. Your work is just as good as anyone else's. You gotta keep drawing. It'll help you find your way. Creativity would push us forward. It had to. It was in our blood. Sorry to cut this short. Gotta run. Dinner time. I love you, Uncle Chris. Call anytime. Oh, okay. Run like the wind. Love you, Ella Bella Shirella. Just a second. Chris had a lifelong dream of getting his comics professionally published, but never thought they were good enough. Should, or when, I get this book published, thank you, I will be fulfilling a dream we both share. At the beginning of every chapter, will be a collage of our artwork mixed together. Our stories intertwine through my art. And hopefully our stories can be utilized as a conversation starter for those who face similar challenges and make others feel less alone. To seek help when you need it, to find hope and meaning when darkness is overwhelming. Just remember, you are loved. Any questions?
There's a lot of sweating eyes I see out there. So next up, well, it's a little bit different. Xing Wang created, instead of a comic, because we do comics, picture books, and transmedia, Xing did a picture book. And so she's going to talk about her picture book, which is called Sunflowers Never Fade at Night. So if you could all give me, as soon as I can get this thing to move out of my way, a warm welcome for, I can't get this thing to move out of the way. There we go. I'm not sharing. Hold on. I don't think I got the right screen yet. Not Discord. Okay, now, give me a warm welcome for Xinhui Wang and Sunflowers Never Fade at Night.
Hi everyone. I'm here to talk about my book called Sunflowers Never Fade at Night.
Yeah, we just have to make sure.
Hi, I'm Xinhui. I like illustrating with color and texture and exploring different techniques and mediums. Since I was a child, I have been attracted to the illustrations in the storybooks, so I also fell in love with drawing. The stories in the books always touch me, and I also hope I can bring audience a warm feeling through my artworks. I'm originally from China. After graduating from high school, I came to America. I went to School of Visual Arts for my undergraduate degree. And during that time, I always loved reading picture books and drawing drawing illustrations. And now I'm here, a second-year visual narrative student. My thesis is a picture book called Sunflowers Never Fade at Night. It's a story about a girl and a star. The girl is the protagonist of the story. She often feels sad and likes to dream. The star is the friend the girl meets in her dream. It's gentle and optimistic, and it is an important partner in helping the girl overcome her sadness. My parents were very busy when I was young, so I often stay at home alone. I make friends with my dolls, and I also fantasize about being friends with some mysterious visitors. So I also want to give story to myself when I was a child. And the story is about a girl's illustrious and beautiful dream. And it's also a story about healing loneliness. A girl feels sad one night and has a dream while lying in the bed. In the dream, she meets a friend who is a star. They spend a wonderful time together and don't go home until sun rises. Childhood feelings are beautiful and fragile. And with the help of the star, the girl regained hope. The star protects the girl's lovely dreams. During the journey, there are not only the stars, but also shy little animals, blooming sunflowers, and swinging grasses on the roadside as well. They bring her a warm and touching world in the dark, where they create many unforgettable memories together, and therefore they live in each other's heart forever. Everyone has their own dreams in their hearts. Some are happy and some are sad. I hope this story can bring sweet dreams and hope to everyone. And the next, I will read my stories. And this is the first page. Sometimes sadness rushes into my head like a river. Whenever I feel sad, I lie on my bed. Even in my dreams, the sky is crying. I didn't know how long it had been when a star looked at me and asked me why I felt sad. I feel like people don't need me, I said. I have an idea, the star said. Come with me. Okay, let's go. We whispered on the bus. We went sightseeing in the countryside. We swayed in the wind. We were having a great time, but soon we will be apart. Everything has its moment to shine, and everyone shines. Even though I am just a little star, I can add light to the big sky. The dreams are beautiful, but it was time for me to go back. We can forever remember our time together through our photos. It's gonna be a beautiful day because there is always unexpected beauty to heal my hurt. And I shine too. Yeah, thank you.
One question.
For my thesis, it's digital drawing.
Digital. Thank you, Sharon. All right. So our last cartoonist for the day, I guess the smallest for last, is that what we're doing? Smallest, but I don't know how we could get through this program without Sadie. I'm going to be completely honest with you. Sadie keeps I don't know what's going to happen when Sadie leaves. Well, Mice is going to get her, so you'll get her. Yeah, Mice will get her, and it'll be fine, but we will be broken when Sadie's gone. So I want to welcome Sadie Sanders to the story. All your people were so loud, I couldn't even say the title. What did I say? Oh my God. You know why I did that? Because you did that thing with Bernie today. Sadie Saunders.
I am short, aren't I? All right, y'all clocked in? Hi, I'm Sadie. I make comics, fonts, and coffee, but usually not at the same time. A little bit about me. I have an undergraduate degree in animation. Thanks, Joel. Thank you. All right, I have an undergrad degree in animation, but for the past 8 years or so, I've worked as a barista or a coffee shop manager in some capacity, while art has mainly taken a backseat. A little more backstory. I'm a huge fan of beverages. I like pouring beverages, I like drinking beverages. One time someone asked what it's like to live with me, and they said, dead seriously, she makes a smoothie every day. This is not a lie. I'm also a huge fan of a captive audience. This is you guys. You're trapped. 2 years ago, I was working my coffee job, and I applied to this new grad program. Previously, I'd done some graphic design work here, but it didn't really suit me. And I saw this new program in visual narrative, so I thought, this is some sort of sequential, abstract program. Upon meeting Joel, he looked at me and said, "So what made you switch from animation to comics?" And I, not knowing this was in comics, said, "I think comics is a great intersection between animation and graphic design." I stand by that, by the way. Because even before my roots in animation, I made comics for my friends. I would come home from high school, I would log on to tumblr.com, and I would make comics in MS Paint based on our inside jokes together. Normally just about my own prevailing awkwardness. So it feels serendipitous that I ended up here today. Another fun thing about me, though, coming with the comic story, is I tend not to always notice things about myself right away, which ties into this greater work as a whole that I'm really excited to present to you, which is Spilled Milk and Other Reasons to Cry at Work. Which is my autobiographical comic about some of my time working in coffee. So somehow there's no major mainstream media about baristas out there, that at least I know of, which is really strange, right? Because we're the bartenders of the morning. We wake up at 3 a.m. to deal you your caffeine and sugar fix. Some of my most interesting stories come from working in coffee. So, for 6 of those 8 years, I worked for a small, really obscure coffee shop you've probably never heard of, really far away from here, which is the Starbucks in Brookline Village, about a mile up the street. So it looks like any other Starbucks, right? But I swear to you, something is weird about Brookline, Massachusetts. I don't know if the moon orbits closer to the Earth or there's like rare magnets that like throw off this like primordial balance within people, but there's definitely something weird about it. So a lot of people tend to ask me upon learning that I worked at Starbucks for 6 years, how did you do that? Which I will say, it's not a death sentence, and it's not perhaps some sort of karmic retribution for the fact that I was a mean teenager who drank coffee. But I will say, how I worked at Starbucks, it was easy, because the good days were really good. Sometimes we're trying to see who can fit into all of the cabinets. Sometimes we are drinking the Ernex chemicals. And other times we're breaking things. But I firmly believe that the people behind the counter are some of the funniest, most talented, hardworking people you're ever gonna meet. Okay, so why spilled milk? We handle like an uncanny amount of milk on a day-to-day basis. Like, the amount of liquid I am picking up and putting down, if you break it down, just feels kind of insane. Specifically, though, one evening, I was closing up the store. Dude, what? And the delivery driver, who I had never seen before, had the crates double stacked on the dolly. This man was so sweaty, by the way. Anyway, they weebled, they wobbled, and they all fell down. I don't know if you guys know what 8 gallons of milk looks like on the floor. And I really hope you don't. But a customer that was standing there looked at me and said, "Think of it this way, we're never gonna see this much milk again." And I really hope not. Another frequently asked question about working in coffee is, what's the weirdest customer interaction you've ever had? And I'm so glad you asked. So, one Wednesday in July of 2017, me and my lovely coworker Danny are standing around the bar, and a man walks in, and he says, "Hi, hello." And Danny goes, "What can I get for you?" "My son and I went fishing today." "Okay." "And we caught a shark. I was going to throw it into traffic." "Oh God, my pet shark." "Papa, why?" But I decided not to. Really brave of him, by the way. Do you want it? Do we want it? So I have this really bad policy in life where, like, if something happens, sometimes you gotta follow through. You gotta know what's gonna happen. And I had to know. So I look at Danny, I blow out the steam wand of the espresso machine and go, yeah, sure, why not? Another good but brief customer interaction I once had was from a teenager who probably was genuinely interested. And they said, wow, like, you guys are so cool, like baristas. Like, did you go to school for this? And I said, yeah, I have an art degree. But it is valid to ask, how did you end up here in the first place? And this is the part where I make fun of my friends in the audience. So it's February 2016, and I've been freelancing. And I don't particularly love freelancing. This is also a beautiful portrait of the artist at work. The other day, my roommate found me face first on the couch, just like groaning, and she was like, are you good? And I was like, oh, this is part of the process. So, let's see. There we go. All right, let's not knock over the podium. New job match. Hi, Sadie. We think it'd be a great fit for this job. Senior aerospace engineer, 7 master's degrees, and 44 years of experience required. Salary expectation, 42 to 52K. We think you'd be a great fit based on your keyword, animation. Okay. You have 12 open applications, and you have 0 responses. We see that you've already tried lowering your standards. Have you also tried giving up? I need a job. So obviously my next choice was to go to Mark Zuckerberg's famous Facebook.com. See what your friends are saying. Sean Bouvier, if you're not vegan, you might as well just eat people. Dude, what? Hi everyone, my work is hiring. If anyone needs a barista gig, hit me up, full-time and benefits. I haven't talked to Steph in 2 years, and we were really close after high school, so maybe she'll help me out. Oh my God, I've been looking for work. Yeah, I'd love to work with you. I'll send you details. Hey, my shop is called Village Coffee House. For all intents and purposes, it is not a Starbucks anymore, for legal reasons. Let me know when you've submitted. I'll have my boss pull your application ASAP. Amazing, I'll have it done in the next 10 minutes. I've been struggling to find work. I deducted that Steph probably didn't hate me at this point. So, I submit the job. Please get me a job. And I go back to drinking from my sexy grandpa mug. Okay, I've submitted. I don't have any food service experience, though. Cool, don't worry. You have some retail, my recommendation, and a pulse, which was debatable at that point. And then immediately, I get a call, pretty much within like the next 10 minutes. Also, for the record, I did have a flip phone at this point. I know it was 2016. Your girl was poor. The 20-year-olds in the audience have their jaw on the floor. Hello, hi, this is Sadie. Hi, this is Charles calling from Village Coffee House. I just took a look at your application. When can you come in from an interview? Oh, I'm free most of the time. Great, see you tomorrow at 11. Cool. Finally, an interview for something that isn't a pyramid scheme. The Village Coffee House was about a 15-minute bus ride from my apartment. I'd gone by it a bunch of times, but never really stopped in. This is Drew distracting the customers. Hi, I'm Sadie. I'm here for an interview. Hey, I'm Drew. I heard you were coming in. You want a drink? It's free. Charles, your interviewer is here. Ooh, I'll take a nice latte. Iced in February? Always. Ha, weirdo. Charles should be by in a moment. Okay, thanks. Hi, I'm Charles, the store manager. Nice to meet you. Sadie Saunders, nice to meet you in person. Charles likes to wear shorts in winter, and he's a freak. And Charles is also, I think, not expecting me to be, as we've discussed, the shortest. So the dress code states, shirts with sleeves, closed-toe shoes, and no face or neck tattoos. You'll also need to wear a bandana and hat for health code reasons. That's all non-negotiable. Does that work for you? Yeah, it's fine. So let me tell you about myself. I'm from New York City, and I moved here for college. I went to Boston University for computer programming, but programming's for nerds, so I switched my major to economics. My birthday is April 7th, and I have a chinchilla named Puff that I love very much. And that's pretty much it. Come back tomorrow with government ID. Okay, did I get the job? Yeah, I just needed you to answer the dress code question. And just like that, I got the job. So, of course, introducing myself to our main cast of characters, we have Justin, Kurt, Drew, who, no way, Steph has friends, and of course Rico, who's so handsome. By the way, here's your employee number. Use it to clock in or out. Okay? Oh, it's a lot of twos. It's almost a year from today's date, February 22nd, 2017. It's certainly unique, I'll give you that. So, what do I get if I'm still here on that day? I'll take us out for drinks. Sounds good. Hey everyone, we're going to the bar. I did not think that I would last very long. Obviously, I was wrong. So, Spilled Milk and Other Reasons to Cry at Work is a graphic memoir about work, coffee, queerness, humanity, mopping, and generally making sense about life in your 20s. It's about the people who you surround yourself with on a day-to-day basis, and it's about spending time next to someone you've never had otherwise gotten to know had you not been elbow to elbow at an espresso machine. It's about realizing that if you don't always get along, there's a certain magic to actually watching someone bleed, sweat, and cry on the floor. Like I say to my current coworkers, you can stab me, but make it count. So I'd like to give you some facts about the people that I worked with. For starters, I did actually have pink hair. I also fit into all of the refrigerators. The number one thing that I learned from Drew was the value of frugality. You can get anything you want by flirting. And he's so good at it, too. Famously, I called Steph dumb in high school, but we both know that some of the dumbest people have master's degrees. I'm so grateful to have spent so many years mopping up enormous puddles of milk next to you. Like, seriously, so much milk. So much milk. Charles Holley once looked me dead in the eyes and said, I don't feel anxiety, which is really frustrating right now in this moment. He also taught me to set very high standards for myself. One time we were at the bar, I said, can we move these tea pitchers? They're really hard for me to reach. And he said, get taller. I bought platform shoes. Kurt taught me that there is a sort of magic to relentlessly making someone your friend. The instant I met this kid, I just said, give me your hat. And he still wanted to be my friend over time. Justin taught me that there is no bad time to make internal screaming external screaming. And the customers taught me that there's no limit to the human imagination. The shark was real, guys. That really happened. And Danny taught me that you're still an artist even when you haven't made something for years at a time. And I'm really lucky to have found friends that get me, even at times that I don't get myself. Ultimately, this is a story about how my friends helped me survive my 20s. And I feel lucky to have had multiple jobs at this point where I get to enjoy the company that I work with. There's a special bond in our chaos, and I truly believe that our little cafe community functions as a transient space between people and where they're meant to be. Thank you. Huh?
They were so loud I couldn't say your title.
That's okay. We have time for one question. Yes?
Can you tell the rest of the shark story?
The rest of the shark story. I did. So, the man came back, and he gave us the shark. And you're gonna have to read the chapter for the rest of that. So, on behalf of the inaugural class of BU Visual Narrative, we're super grateful, and I'd like to grab Kathy and Joel on stage.
We just wanted to say thank you. We are 10 students who came into this program. It's brand new year. We had no idea what we were getting into, and we didn't even know who was the department chair or who our faculty was. It's kind of crazy when you think about it. But when we got here, it couldn't have gone any better. Joel and Kathy, thank you for being here for us. Late nights in the studio, like so many texts in the middle of the night with so much anxiety, and you answered every single one. So thank you.
Thank you.
It says love your other children. So thank you all for coming. This is not the end. We also have the reception that's happening at 8:55 right down the street. We're going to immediately leave this room and walk as an entire group all the way down the walkway. So if you could all join us down there, people will have comics too. So if you're lucky, somebody will sell you or give you, depending on how nice you are to them, a comic that they've made about their work. So thank you all for coming. I appreciate it, and we'll talk down the street.